Hello, friends. I see a escalation in anxiety that people have been experiencing in the last 1 year since COVID started. We are not only dealing with a COVID pandemic, but it seems to me that mental health also really needs to be looked into very deeply. What is the impact of the happenings in terms of COVID on people? It is not just physical impact, but also emotional. The stress levels which have increased so much. If we really look at it, the mortality of COVID is not so much. So many people get infected, and out of those so many, there would be very few of them whose very life would be threatened. Most would be asymptomatic, or some would have some symptoms, as in of a cold or a sore throat, and they get better. The worrisome aspect of COVID is the transmission and that it's very infective. But even greater than that, the access to information now, which is so much. It's not only the TV, the news, the social media also, which is filled with COVID related posts, and now more so since the last 1 month or so, when cases have really increased in India and the health system is struggling to keep up with the demands of the people who are very sick. In such moments, the big group, the larger group of people who will only be asymptomatic or who will have the mildest of symptoms, they really need to look at the mental health pandemic also taking place. And they have to take into consideration the impact of the news that we are hearing, the happenings that we hear happening in the families that we know, friends that we know. And taking that into account is very important, as in the deepest understanding, we can stay in the best health if we are able to stay in a calm state, if we are able to keep our energies peaceful, if we are able to keep our mind positive. Even the latest scientific research shows us the impact of negative thinking, negative thoughts, negative emotional state on our health. It makes us more predisposed to getting infected. And this understanding even comes from the scientific studies that have been conducted on how two people exposed to the same infective organism, one gets infected, then the other doesn't. So our state of mind plays a huge impact. So what happens when we go into states of anxiety? What happens when we go into stress is these chemicals begin secreting inside us. And this huge portion of the energy of the body goes into meeting the threat that the body is perceiving. If we are sitting at home and there are things happening outside, nothing is really happening here. But when we listen to the news, it seems to us that we are being threatened, we are being attacked. So the body goes into this drive to protect itself. And when this system becomes operational inside us, These chemicals begin secreting inside us. What do you think? What would be the energy left to build up the immune system? What would be the energy left to take care of the health of the system, of proliferation, of nourishing the system? Rather, we go into survival mode. The studies have shown this prolonged stress leads to so many diseases that people face. To me, it seems that the health of the people has declined over time. I don't think sickness was so prevalent in our day-to-day life as it is now, if we look back maybe 10, 15 years back. And the negativity which has become part and parcel of the news which is being shown in the TV channel has a huge bearing on our health as it has started declining now. So when you switch on the TV, when you hear the negative news in the news channels who talk about hatred, who talk about fear, even the tone of their voice has so much emotion in them. So when you listen to this news, know that you are feeding poison inside your system. It is important to know what is happening, but keep that knowing to fact-based channels. Reading rather than viewing is also much better. Search which channels are spewing propaganda and which channels are talking about facts. And listen to facts and keep it also in the first part of the day. In the later part of the day, do not let any news intrude upon your system. So you have to make attempts at keeping a positive atmosphere around you and having a positive diet. Positive diet is also what we consume, what we watch. So the second part of the day should be reserved for only positive, seeing the positivity around, maybe listening to soft music, maybe listening to affirmations which pull us up, listening to positive talks which again help us to feel better, talking, communicating with friends. The technology is such a great medium. Because of technology, I'm able to reach you who are listening to me now. You're not sitting in front of me, but I am sitting in front of you right now. So make use of the technology, talk to people, share, be there for someone. So there are people who need support in these times. You can support them, listen to them, and also share your own story also. So just the act of sharing with friends, it helps us feel so much better. Engaging in pursuits which make us happy, like art, painting, dance, being in the gardens, being out with the trees, walking barefoot on the grass, looking at the sky, taking pictures of nature, for nature photography, being with animals, dogs, even the dogs outside, cats. All of these activities help us feel good. There are books which make us feel better. There are books which are so uplifting. Norman Vincent Peale, he writes such beautiful books on positive thinking. Wayne Dyer is such an amazing writer. His books are so inspirational. James Herriot I count as one of my favorite authors. So there are some books which uplift us. So the negative states, when we experience them, if we focus too much on on them, they will keep growing. So it's best to stop them. Just saying to your mind, stop, stopping that negative stream which is going, and then distracting yourself with something which is positive, watching a comedy instead of the daily dose of the daily news which comes. So you have to engage in activities which are hands on, which are close to you, near to you. Cooking, and cooking for the joy of it, making something different. Embroidery, knitting. So anything which you do with your hands will also calm you down. So when you keep thinking, so it's like getting lost in the city of the mindscapes, the world which is created in the mind. If you start listening to people, you'll realize that each one of us lives in a different world, and that world is in our head. So why not even try to make a world inside your head which is positive, which is supportive, which is non-threatening? World has been going on, and worse things have happened in the world. World wars happened, atom bombs were thrown, there was a depression that came in, India was under UK, occupied by UK. Worse things have happened in the world. Epidemics have also struck. And we are still here and standing. This too shall pass. Just remind yourself of that every day. This too shall pass. Change is the only certainty in our world. Focus on the positive, and that will help the positive grow for yourself and for the world. So wherever your attention goes, there your energy goes. So the events happening at the world level, we are all creating together. And we can put our contribution towards creating a better world by also focusing positively on whatever is working, whatever is going right, and operating from hope, operating from the sense of that it is a perfect world and there is an intelligence which is driving everything. And it would be a conscious effort, it would need a conscious effort to pull us towards this positive outlook. And it is very much needed now. We are creators, and there is a reality which we create for ourselves, which is the individual reality. And then there is the world that we create, which are happening on a global scale. So, give some time also to meditate, to connect with the deeper consciousness, the deeper energies, to connect with peace, and then send out that peace into the world, and it will uplift everyone. Friends, hope you have a really good day, and some of these tips you're able to practice and bring in more positivity for yourself, your family, and your friends. Let's build a better world. Thank you for listening in.